I'm Laurie Lott, and I integrated EME 2040, Introduction to Technology for Educators. Integrating service learning into my course really was something that came to me over a period of time. I started teaching about a little over 2 years ago at Valencia, and prior to that I did my master's, and one of the courses that I took in my master's was not called service learning, it was called experiential learning. And I will say that class was probably one of the best classes I took in my entire bachelor's degree, master's degree field. And what it was is it was a project that we worked from the beginning to the end, and we had full reign on what we wanted to do. The project asked you to go do something for someone else. So I chose the Peace and Justice Initiative for Valencia, and we worked through a project. We designed some curriculum, and it taught me not only how to write the curriculum, which I could have learned from the textbook, but this really carried over, and I still go back and reflect on it from the materials that I got. The second part of that was I realized that my students were coming to me in my class and saying, "Oh, Professor Lott, we know that in our other two required courses, we have 15 hours in one class and 15 hours in another class that we have to go and observe. Do we have to do that in your class too? And if so, when do we start?" So I thought, what a better way to go ahead and play off of that. The students want it. They see the really great thing of service, and they want to do it, and so why not just put it in my class? Well, the very first thing I did was take the course, and that was huge. Just learning about how important it was, reaffirming what I already felt and what I already was seeing, that it really was meaningful to the students. And then I started trying to think about, okay, I have resources. So rather than coming up with different resources, I started using the ones that I had. And that kind of led me to using service learning through Lott and Childs. And then of course I was able to control the project a little bit more for first starting. We partner with Lott and Childs Elementary School, and we have a very special relationship, and we have adopted that school in this Adopt a School program. And so I went to visit one of my colleagues who is a teacher in 5th grade and also a professor at night for our department. And I went to visit her, and in our conversation at the school, she tells me about one year a student came to her and said, "Oh, professor, or teacher," they call her teacher, "there's a really bad smell coming from the back of the classroom." And so the teacher goes back, and she notices, "Oh my goodness, milk has spilled in this backpack, and milk smells terrible." And so she talked to the student, and she found out that this student was taking milk from the cafeteria to take home with her because she didn't have it. And Lott and Childs has a pretty high ratio of some homeless students. And so she started thinking, oh, I'm going to create a garden, and I'm going to have these kids grow the vegetables and take them home and eat them. So she started this project, and then I was thinking about service learning, and I thought to myself, oh, that's a nice marriage. So that's how it came. I started thinking about the projects that I already had in my class, because I've been teaching this course, and I thought, okay, well, and there are certain objectives that I have to meet in my class. And I went through those, and I thought, okay, well, I still need to meet my objectives, but what can I do instead of this project and make it and implement the service learning? So I started marrying that, and it just kind of fell into place. And we looked at, okay, well, we have, research component for the service learning, and then we have the actual service where you have to go and you have to volunteer and give of yourself, and then you have a reflection. Well, we kind of do that anyway with some observation classes that I teach in a different class. So I used that idea, and I said, okay, well, so for the research, wow, Peace and Justice, gosh, they're having a movie during Peace Week, and it's all about the homeless in Orlando. And man, I know that the homeless society in the area, the residents there, they go to Lott and Childs, and that's what the garden is for. Ooh, maybe my students should do some research, and maybe that research, since we're in a technology class, maybe that research needs to be put in a PowerPoint. And so those wheels just started clicking, and all of a sudden I have this really great project. And then at the end, We document the project of this really nice garden, and we present it in a Prezi or a PowerPoint for either the parents or the administrators or whoever wants to see it. What made it meaningful for my students is they realized the connection between them as a student and their future career as a teacher. When they enter my class, a lot of them don't realize that, oh yeah, besides going to class, I really need to pack my resume with some really good stuff. And it's really important that I stay consistent with my grades and I stay involved with my academics, but there's another part of that makes you a great student and will get you a job. And one of that is service and volunteering. And I also, sometimes depending on the semester, I'll bring in a principal and I'll have them talk about what they want to see on that resume. And most of them say, we want to see what you do outside of class time and outside of, your family and your work schedule. What do you do? What do you volunteer? What's your passion? And for these students, because they want to be teachers, the pairing up with a school that was just a no-brainer. And when they see that, oh yeah, I have to go outside of my work, outside of my school schedule, I need to connect with my community. And wow, when I go, it makes me feel really good. And wow, that student said thank you. And boy, that felt